Hey guys, I just want to explain these notes a little bit. So first of all, we talked about isotopes today. So isotopes are just different forms of the same element that have different numbers of neutrons. So this picture right here, I have a picture of some different isotopes of hydrogen. So you can see this one is hydrogen that doesn't have any neutrons. It's just got a proton and an electron. This is a different isotope of hydrogen that has one neutron, that little N, it's a neutron. And this is a third isotope of hydrogen that has two neutrons. This one happens to be radioactive. So it turns out that some isotopes are radioactive, depending on the number of neutrons they have. Now there's a couple different ways of representing isotopes. One is called a nuclear symbol. In the nuclear symbol, the mass number is the top number. Remember, the mass number is the number of protons and neutrons. We wrote that down last time, mass number. And then the atomic number is the number underneath. And that's just the number of protons. So the mass number will always be bigger than the atomic number. Now, just be aware, this is opposite of the way it is on the periodic table. The periodic table has the atomic number at the top, but this symbol has the atomic number down here, so that's a little different. You can also sometimes see isotopes written with just the name of the element, and then a dash, and then the mass number. So like nickel 59 is nickel with a total of 59 protons and neutrons. Okay, one other vocabulary word you need to know is ion. So an ion is when you have an atom that has a positive or negative charge because it has lost or gained electrons. Okay, now what I want to do is talk about these three examples, and I'll actually work them out on the video. So the first question is, how many protons, electrons, and neutrons are in an atom of titanium 48, and then it gives us the nuclear symbol here. So this 22 right here, that is the atomic number, which is the number of protons. So we know that there's 22 protons, and since the number of protons and the number of electrons is the same in a neutral atom, then there's going to be 22 electrons. It doesn't tell us this is charged, so we're going to assume that it's neutral and the number of protons and electrons is the same. Okay, so we got the number of protons and electrons. Now to find the neutrons, this 48 right here, this is not the number of neutrons. That's the number of protons plus neutrons. So if we know there's 22 protons and the total protons plus neutrons is 48, it should make sense that if we do 48 minus 22, we get the number of neutrons. So 48 minus 22 is going to be 26. So we have 26 neutrons. Okay, next question. How many protons, electrons, and neutrons are in an atom of uranium-238? So this number after the dash, that is the mass number. So that's not the number of protons or neutrons or electrons. So to find the number of protons, we need to look on the periodic table. So there's a periodic table on the back of your book, and uranium's down at the bottom. It's number 92. This is the atomic number, and that means there's 92 protons. And since it didn't tell us that it had a charge, we're going to assume that it's neutral and that there's also 92 electrons. So 92 protons, 92 electrons for uranium. And then to find the number of neutrons, we'll have to do 238 minus 92, and that will give us 146. So we've got 146 neutrons. Okay, last example says how many protons, electrons, and neutrons are in this isotope of magnesium. Now this one has a charge. It's got a positive 2 charge. So that means the protons and electrons aren't going to be the same. But let's just start with protons. So we know we're going to have 12 protons because the atomic number is 12. Now, since the charge is positive 2, that means I have 2 extra protons, or I've lost 2 electrons. So I've got more protons than electrons. So if I have 2 more protons than electrons, that means I'm going to have 10 electrons. And then to find the number of neutrons, I would just do 26, the mass number, minus 12, the atomic number, and that would give me 14. So I have 14 neutrons.